After the IRGC's chilling more to come warning, is Israel now connecting the dots and bracing for a bigger strike ahead? With Iran firing fewer missiles but boasting of new weapons on the way, is Tehran quietly saving its best systems for a mega attack? As Iran sharply slows its ballistic missile salvos, is Israel more worried about what comes next than what's flying today? From 90 missile barrages to about 20 shots a day, is this a mind game designed to rattle Israel's nerves? Are the Khorramshahr and Kibar barrages just a trailer? Is Iran now getting ready to unleash its full missile arsenal on Israel and US bases? The IDF now assesses that Iran is firing fewer ballistic missiles toward Israel each day, according to its latest estimates. The Times of Israel reported on March 6 that, based on military data, Iran's daily missile fire at Israel has slowed sharply. Estimates suggest the number of ballistic missiles launched from Iran at Israel has fallen to around 20 per day. On February 28, the first day of the war, Iran fired roughly 90 ballistic missiles at Israeli targets, according to those reports. The following day, March 1st, that number dropped to about 60 missiles, as per Israeli and US briefings. From March 2nd to March 5th, Iran is estimated to have launched roughly 20 ballistic missiles per day at Israel, the Israeli report added. Military officials say these missiles were launched in multiple salvos, each consisting of relatively small numbers of projectiles. At the same time, Iran has fired dozens more ballistic missiles at other Middle Eastern countries hosting US forces and bases. In total, Iranian and US sources say Iran has launched around 500 ballistic missiles since the war began. The IDF says it has destroyed more than 300 Iranian ballistic missile launchers in combined strikes so far. Israeli estimates suggest this accounts for roughly 60% of Iran's total launcher stockpile aimed at Israel. The head of US Central Command has said Iran's ballistic missile attacks have decreased by about 90% since February 28 as strikes on its launch capacity mount. Meanwhile, Iran's IRGC has issued a chilling warning to Israel, vowing it is ready for a prolonged war, according to reports on March 6. An IRGC spokesperson said Iran is fully prepared for long conflict to punish the aggressor and is holding back some of its strongest options. He said Iran is set to field a new generation of strategic weapons never before seen on the battlefield. The general stressed that Iran has so far used only a fraction of its true capabilities in the current campaign. Iran's new initiatives and weapons are on the way, the spokesperson declared, hinting at further escalatory steps. He added that the enemy should expect painful blows in every upcoming operational wave as the war continues. These threats came as Iran struck Tel Aviv with a Kibar-class missile, which Iranian media said showed high precision. On March 5, the IRGC said it used Khorramshahr 4 missiles to hit the heart of Tel Aviv in a new barrage. The same strike also aimed at Israel's Ben Gurion airport, according to the IRGC statement. Iran released video footage that it said showed the launch of a Khorramshahr 4 missile used in the attack. Earlier, on March 4, Iran announced it had attacked a US destroyer that was refueling from an American tanker. The IRGC said the destroyer was taking on fuel about 650 kilometers off Iran's coast in the Indian Ocean.
Good evening, and welcome to our special coverage. Tonight, we turn our attention to the Middle East, where tensions between Israel and Iran have escalated dramatically, bringing the realities of modern warfare directly into the heart of one of Israel's most important cities, Tel Aviv. Late last night, the skies over Tel Aviv were suddenly illuminated, but this was not the glow of city lights reflecting off glass towers, nor the sparkle of celebration. Instead, the night sky was lit by the blazing trail of a missile streaking across the darkness. Within seconds, air raid sirens erupted across the city, their piercing alarms cutting through the silence and sending millions of residents rushing toward shelters. Across Tel Aviv, families grabbed their children and ran. People in apartments hurried into reinforced safe rooms. Those on the streets quickly searched for public bunkers. In restaurants, diners left their meals unfinished and moved quickly toward protective shelters. Office workers abandoned their desks, and traffic on major roads suddenly slowed as drivers stopped and ran toward the nearest secure location. For the people of Tel Aviv, this has become a new and unsettling routine. A city once known as a thriving hub of technology, finance, and innovation is now facing the daily reality of missile alerts and emergency responses. The current escalation follows a long history of hostility between Israel and Iran. For decades, the two nations have considered each other major strategic rivals in the Middle East. Their confrontation has often taken place indirectly, through cyber warfare, intelligence operations, covert missions, and attacks on strategic infrastructure across the region. However, the conflict took a more direct turn after a major strike on Iranian territory in late February of 2026. That operation reportedly targeted several key military installations and strategic facilities linked to Iran's defense infrastructure. Iranian leadership condemned the strike as a serious escalation and quickly vowed retaliation. Soon after, missiles were launched toward Israel. Dozens of ballistic and medium-range projectiles traveled thousands of kilometers through the skies of the Middle East, with Tel Aviv emerging as one of the primary targets. Since those first strikes, air raid sirens have become part of daily life for residents in the city. The alarms can sound at any moment, during the day or in the middle of the night. And when they do, people often have less than a minute to reach safety. In some cases, residents have as little as 30 seconds to find shelter before a potential impact. During the first days of the conflict, sirens echoed across the city multiple times a day. Each time they sounded, the normally vibrant urban atmosphere came to a sudden halt. Streets grew quiet as citizens paused, watching the skies and hoping the country's defense systems would intercept the incoming threats. Israel operates one of the most advanced air defense networks in the world. Systems such as Iron Dome, David Sling, and the Arrow missile defense system are designed to detect and intercept incoming rockets and ballistic missiles at different ranges and altitudes. When an interception occurs, the result can be seen from miles away. A bright flash suddenly appears in the sky the moment an interceptor destroys an incoming missile. Fragments of metal then fall slowly toward the ground, glowing faintly as they descend like small meteors. While these interceptions often prevent serious damage, they also serve as a constant reminder that the threat is real and ongoing. Despite the advanced defenses, no system can guarantee complete protection. In one of the early attacks of this conflict, a missile managed to penetrate the defense layer and strike a residential neighborhood in Tel Aviv. The explosion shook nearby buildings and shattered windows across several blocks. Apartments suffered structural damage, and parked vehicles caught fire from the blast and falling debris. Emergency responders quickly rushed to the scene. Firefighters battled spreading flames while paramedics evacuated injured residents from damaged buildings. For many citizens, the incident served as a stark reminder that even with sophisticated defenses, the risks of modern warfare remain dangerously close. As tensions continued to rise, the Israeli government declared a nationwide state of emergency. The measure allowed authorities to mobilize critical resources across the country. Schools were temporarily closed, large public gatherings were canceled, and many businesses shifted to remote work to reduce risk. Military reservists were also called back into service to strengthen national readiness. In Tel Aviv, several hospitals even relocated key medical facilities underground to ensure they could continue operating in the event of larger attacks. Today, life in the city operates in two modes: normal life and emergency response. When the sirens are silent, people attempt to continue with their daily routines. Shops remain open, public transportation still runs, and offices try to maintain operations. But everything can change in seconds. The moment a siren sounds, conversations stop. People stand up, leave their seats, and rush toward shelters. Even on busy highways, drivers may suddenly pull over and run toward protective areas. Meanwhile, the missile attacks have continued in waves. During the early phase of the conflict, dozens, and in some cases nearly 100 projectiles were launched toward Israel within a short period. Most were successfully intercepted, but every incoming missile carries a risk. Several buildings have been damaged, civilians have been injured, and the tension across the country remains high. For the Israeli government, protecting major cities like Tel Aviv is now an urgent priority. As the nation's economic and technological center, any disruption to the city could have consequences far beyond the battlefield. For now, residents remain alert, knowing that the next siren could sound at any moment. And as the situation continues to evolve, the world watches closely, aware that what happens in this region could shape the future stability of the entire Middle East.